Welcome to the next video, students. So now let us see specific tests for small samples, that is for the samples whose size is n is less than 30. Okay, I have already told you how the small samples and the difference between the small and the large samples is only the size. N is less than 30, then the sample is said to be a small sample. Okay, and we have two important tests for small samples. One is students t distribution or students t test, and another one is chi-square test. Okay, so let us see students t distribution in this particular video. But before that, we will go ahead and look into what is called as degrees of freedom. Here, for both these two tests, degrees of freedom is a very important technical term that you guys have to understand. Okay, the number of degrees of freedom usually denoted by V, otherwise this is the Greek letter nu. Okay, is the, what does this mean? This is nothing but the number of values in a set which may be assigned at arbitrarily. Okay, so arbitrarily you can assign the values. Okay, it can be interpreted as the number of independent values generated by a sample of small size for estimating a population parameter. For example, let us see, for example, let us suppose that we need to find, three numbers whose sum is 25. There is that is to find A, B, C such that the sum of these three is 25. This is one small example where we are trying to explain you what is degrees of freedom. Okay, now we can arbitrarily assign values to any two of the variables and find the third one. Right, based on the values we can assign the third one, but we can't assign for all the three. So what is the degrees of freedom in this case? There are totally three variables, but not for all the variables you have freedom to assign the values, only for two of them. So usually if we have n number of variables, so n number of observations or n number of variables, then what would be the degrees of freedom in general? Therefore n minus 1 number of n minus will be the degrees of freedom. Understood? So this degrees of freedom list will be given in the behind of, just like normal tables, you have a degrees of freedom list, tables in the tables list. But if not, you can get the values for that particular given degrees of freedom. What is the critical value given for students t distribution or for chi-square distribution? For both of them you have the value table. So based on the standard table you can get the values. So either they'll give you the value in the question, they have to give you the value in the question. Okay, that's for sure, don't worry. Anyways, so this is the meaning of degrees of freedom. Understood? Now let us see what is students t distribution for a small sample. Okay, students t distribution theoretical part for a small sample. So how do you do that? So why is this name like? So basically the name goes, the students t distribution name goes behind the great statistician whose surname is pen name is student. Hence the distribution is named behind his pen name only. Okay, and this is derived as a theoretical distribution to test the significance of sample mean, where the small sample is drawn from a normal population. The population follows the normal distribution, but the sample size is a small sample, that means less than 30 in number. But what are we going to do here? We are going to check the significance of the sample mean. Okay, so this is what it is. This is the purpose of this particular test. And now let us assume xi be a random sample whose size n drawn from its population mean whose size n drawn from a population whose mean is mu and the population variance is sigma square. Now the test static here is given by, instead of z, we will write it as t in this case, because t stands for students t distribution. Just the one notation for the statistic, that is the formula. Understood? So the t here stands for, the formula for t, that is the test static, is given by, it is more or less like our z formula only. So we have t is equal to x bar minus mu divided by s by root n. What is s here? S is the variance, standard deviation of the sample. Okay, s square is the variance, but s is the standard deviation of the sample. Anyways, if you simplify this, you get like this, because the denominator in the denominator goes to the numerator. So x bar minus mu into root n divided by s. So you should remember that here s stands for, s is standard deviation of sample. And how do you find it? Okay, so we have a formula to find the variance of s square. Hence, s we can find by taking the square root of s square. Understood? So square root of variance gives you the standard deviation. We should remember that. Now the degrees of freedom comes to the picture. What is the degrees of freedom here? Nu here is given by n minus 1. But what is n? N is standing for size of the sample. N stands for size of the sample. Therefore, the degrees of freedom nu is given by n minus 1. That means if the sample size is, if n is equal to 20, then we have degrees of freedom usually written as df. This is also one of the notations. df will be 20 minus 1, that is 19. Understood? So this is how you have it for the degrees of freedom. Understood? Next, the test static t follows the student's t distribution with n minus 1 degrees of freedom having the probability density function. See, student's t test and student's t distribution, both of them are here. So what is student's t test? We use the test statistic t is equal to x bar minus mu divided by s into root n, and then we perform the test for the sample means of small sample, that is student's t test. And if you wanna get student's t distribution, then this is the probability density function given by y is equal to f of t into y naught divided by 1 plus t square by nu whole raised to nu plus 1 by 2. What is t here? Here t is nothing but this test static value, and nu is the degrees of freedom. Understood? So after getting t value and nu value from the table, from the given data, then substitute in this to get the probability density function for the given student's t distribution. Understood? And here you can see y naught is a constant in the initial case, such that the area under the curve is always 1. Okay, and also the test static t is defined by, this is another way of representing the test static. T is equal to x bar minus mu divided by sigma into under root of n minus 1. And how to get the constant value? The constant y naught represent in this probability density function is given by gamma function here. Gamma of, this is the gamma of nu plus 1 by 2 whole divided by under root pi v divided by gamma of nu by 2. So that the probability density function of the student's t distribution with the new degrees of freedom is given by this particular formula. Understood? And if v is very large, that is degrees of freedom depending on degrees of freedom, depending on n degrees of freedom we'll get, right? So if v is very large, the graph closely approximates standard normal curve. That means it will become a large sample, and we know that always the large samples follow the standard normal distribution or standard normal curve. So here also you can relate the same thing. Understood, guys? So that is about that. Now let us see the student's t-test for a sample mean. So how are we going to do the student's t-test for a sample mean? So we need to test the hypothesis here. We know whenever test comes to the picture, we get the hypothesis. We need to test the hypothesis whether the sample mean x bar differs significantly from the population mean mu or not. Okay, that means this is the mu is the population mean, and hypothetical value will be, that means the basic statement value should be considered as the population mean only. So for that we compute the value of t by using the formula t equal to x bar minus mu divided by s into root n, and consider what is the absolute value of t. Okay, so we consider the absolute value of t. And now we need to consider the standard table of values where you have the degrees of freedom. For the given degrees of freedom, what is the critical value, that is absolute value of t, will be given in the table, and accordingly we need to compare. Okay, so we will have from the table for the 5% level of significance, which is given by t at 0.05 probability, and also the 1% level of significance values also will be listed in the what is it called, the standard table of values given by t at the probability 0.01. Okay, so we know that the value of t, whatever the absolute value of t, what we get, if it is less than the tabular values under whatever the particular level of significance, whether it is 5 or 10, whatever, and sometimes I told you we can have 2% level of significance also. Okay, so then what we'll say, the data is said to be conformal, that is consistent. That means the hypothesis mu, the hypothesis that the mu is the mean population will be accepted. Here also either we accept or reject only based on the critical values. Also guys, we have the confidence limits for the given population mean, just like how we have performed on the large samples. Here also we can do the same for the small sample. So how are we going to get that? So that also depends on the critical values of t under the respective level of significance. Under 5% level of significance for the given degrees of freedom n minus 1, so the confidence limits are given by p into the calculated value of t, which is given by modulus t, that should be less than the critical value. So it should be equal to 0.05. Okay, so that's how we start with, and we proceed and we derive it. So combining all the results, finally you can say the confidence limits will be this one: x bar minus s by root n into t at 0.05 should be less than the population mean, which is again less than this. That will be the plus minus values over there. So if you can consider here, we can write it like this in the simplest way: x bar plus minus s by root n into t 0.05, that is the critical value, is the confidence limit under 95%. Again by 95% by taking 5% significance levels, and then by taking 1% significant level, the confidence limits for the mean population mean mu is given by x bar plus minus s divided by root n into t 0.01, that is the critical value at that particular point. Understood? And here also we have test of significance for difference of sample means. That is, earlier, just now, till now we have discussed only about one population and one mean, and here we will discuss about two different populations and two different means, where the populations will have two different means, x bar and y bar, two different standard deviations, sigma x and sigma y. In this case also the test statistic will be almost the same, but little difference. Here it will be t equal to x bar minus y bar, the whole divided by s into under root of 1 by n1 plus 1 by n2, where n1 and n2 are the sizes of the population drawn from first and second respectively. First population, and this is for the second, size of the second population, size of the sample drawn from the second population. And remember, the formula for s square is little lengthy. You guys have to substitute the values here. n1, n2 are from the sizes of the population, but this you have to calculate the internal part and then simplify it. Understood? Calculating s square is the major thing that you guys have to concentrate here under the t distribution for both sample mean and difference of sample means tests. Got it? And in the case of difference of sample mean, that degrees of freedom, if it is only one sample, then the degrees of freedom df is given by n minus 1, right? But in this case, the degrees of freedom is given by n1 plus n2 minus 2. This is going to give you the degrees of freedom, and here also we got to check the list of the values for n1 plus n2 minus 2 against the particular level of significance, that is t 0.05 or t at 0.01 and so on, and then compare your t value, and then compare this particular test statistic value, that is the modulus t value, and then give your inference whether the hypothesis is accepted or rejected. So it's the same thing. Only difference here is the formula, my dear friends. Otherwise, it's similar to the large sample test what you have done till now. Okay, so this is the theoretical part for the students' t distribution. We will do problems in my next video, but I want you guys to go through the theory, read through it thoroughly, make the list of all the formulae as well in your maths notebook. If possible, write the theory in brief along with the formulae and explaining all the terms in the formulae in your maths notebook. Okay.